Welcome back to Z's and Threes.
For three for the win. Yes!
And it is time for the NBA stretch run to the playoffs. 9 games to truly welcome us back from the All-Star break. Hope that everybody is well rested and ready to make the playoff push. If you're just jumping into the league or need to catch up, check out my 40 positives about the league episode. Dropped it last week, focusing on all the great things happening in the NBA right now. Plenty to catch you up on from the days across the All-Star break, including huge news on 2 stars not on the court post-break. Before we tip, if you like the show, please do like and subscribe. If you're listening on Pod, give us 5 stars. If you're listening there, jump over to YouTube. Share with a friend in either case who needs to stay in the know as we make the playoff push. Remember, an assist makes 2 people happy. Let's catch you up on everything that you've missed. Group chat game of the night. We take you to the Big Apple, Madison Square Garden, 3rd seed in the East currently, New York Knicks, hosting the Chicago Bulls, who are just clinging onto that 10th and final play-in spot. In the East, teams trading buckets down the stretch. The game had 13 lead changes. Jalen Brunson, step back, elbow jumper, smooth. 29 seconds left, ties the game up, 104 apiece. 22.7 on the clock. Shot clock off after a Bulls timeout. Chance to go for the win. Lonzo Ball gets the most wide open, butt naked look from 3. A dribble to step into it you could ask for. Side iron. Bulls, though, keep possession off the rebound. They call a timeout with 2 seconds left. Get an amazing inbound pass to Nikola Vucevic, who has Mikal Bridges buried in the restricted zone. Turns around for the game winner. Bridges comes through with the block. To overtime we go. 2nd consecutive overtime game for the Knicks. They won in overtime against the Hawks heading into the All-Star break. In the extra period, Bulls would get the first bucket, but Knicks then go on a 9-0 run. It included 3 made buckets from Karl-Anthony Towns to put them up 7, but the Bulls still have a chance. They could send it to double overtime, but same as the end of regulation, Nikola Vucevic cannot get his shot to go. Knicks prevail. 113-111, 32 points, 18 rebounds from Karl-Anthony Towns, 22 points, 12 assists from Jalen Brunson. 8 more games on the night, and like a fast break, let's run it. We begin with the hottest team in the league entering the All-Star break. It was the Denver Nuggets, who had won 8 consecutive. They were going for their 9th against the Charlotte Hornets, who got their 14th win of the season Wednesday night, surprisingly, in Los Angeles against the Lakers, game in which Luka Doncic did suit up. More on him later. That game was rescheduled due to the LA fires at the start of the year, so the league was supposed to pick up on Thursday, but that one game played. The Hornets on a back-to-back on the travel. No LaMelo, no Mark Williams. More on him later as well, in spite of both playing last night in their victory. Jamal Murray, well, for the Nuggets, he picked up right where he left off prior to the break. 13 points in the first quarter. Nikola Jokic had 14. Denver had a 14-point lead that the Hornets then tied the game the late moments of the third quarter, but Denver outscores them 30-19 in the fourth, win the game 129-115 after 55 in their last game prior to the break. Jamal Murray comes back with 34. He's heating up for the Nuggets. 29, 17, and 9 from Nikola Jokic. So how would that affect the West race? Well, Denver entered the night a half game behind Memphis for 2nd in the East. With the Memphis loss, the teams would switch seeds. In the West, the Grizzlies were in Indy taking on the Pacers, and the Grizzlies jumped out to an early 13-point lead, but a 50-26 second quarter for the Pacers. 50-26 would change that. They grow their lead to 26, end up winning by 14. 7 players in double figures for Indy. They were paced by Tyrese Halliburton with 22, 5, and 9. Let's talk the best team in the league. Well, one of them, Oklahoma City and Cleveland. They had a tie record coming off the break, but the Cavs were on the road in Brooklyn facing the Nets. Chance to break that tie. Cleveland outscored the Nets by 15 in the second half. That would be enough to earn the victory. Nets playing some scrappy ball right now. 110-97 was the final. 26 from Donovan Mitchell. 16 points, 20 rebounds from Jarrett Allen. Hook 'em horns. Cavs get their 45th win against 10 losses. They emerge with sole possession of the best record in the NBA. Thunder didn't play tonight. Second seed in the East, defending champ Boston Celtics. Easy work in Philadelphia against the Sixers. They led by 29, won by 20. The Sixers did play Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey, but to no avail. Reason being, the Celtics three-point shooting, they go 24 of 54 from three. Peyton Pritchard made 8 of those. The Sixers as a team had 8 made threes. Pritchard had a game-high 28 points. Stay in the East race. Another game with potential for a seed swing. Magic in 7, the Hawks in 8. The Hawks build a 19-point lead in the second quarter, but we are officially back from All-Star break. Our first wild lead swing alert. The Magic take the lead right before half. Orlando builds it to 11 before Atlanta battles back to tie things up at 101, 3:46 left. Clutch time game. What is clutch time? That's if the game is within 5 points, under 5 minutes in regulation. 9-0 run, though, from the offensively challenged at time Magic, able to seal the deal for them. First big game back. Paolo Banchero looking himself, coming off his extended injury absence. 33 games he missed, 36 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. It bested a game-high 38 from Trae Young. I don't know where y'all are checking in from. Let me know down in the comments, but it is absolutely freezing here in Austin, Texas. I have the space heater going in the studio. Let's talk East versus West. Clippers, Bucks, both teams trying to push into a home court playoff series position. Remember, seeds 1 through 4 get home court in the first round. The Clippers currently in 6th, the Bucks in 5th in their respective conferences. Both teams would lead by 13 at one point, but the game would go to clutch time. Remember, 5 points under 5 minutes. It was Bogdan Bogdanovic with the Clippers now, traded from Atlanta. He makes a 3 to make it a 2-point game with 74 seconds left, but the Bucks' fourth quarter effort was the deciding factor. They win the period 36-21, win the game 116-110 in spite of minutes restriction from Giannis, who played 24 minutes, scored 23 points, 22 points, and help from Brook Lopez. Suns Spurs playing just up the street from me, Moody Center, home of the Texas Longhorns. The Spurs playing 2 games in Austin. Friday night, they will play the Detroit Pistons. May have to hit that one up. How would the Spurs respond given the mega news that dropped earlier Thursday afternoon of Victor Wembanyama missing the rest of the regular season? We will talk more about that later. San Antonio, they would go whistle to whistle. 120-109, their victory. 26-9-7 from De'Aaron Fox. 13-5-10 from Chris Paul. The Suns' 4th loss in a row. Both teams look headed to an early offseason. Final game of the night. That would be the Lakers coming off consecutive losses to 2 of the worst teams in the league. They lost to the Jazz before the All-Star break and then the Hornets on Wednesday night, both of which they had Luka Doncic in the game. More on him later in House Shoes. What would they have on the back-to-back in Portland versus the Blazers? Well, it would be a huge night from LeBron James. 40 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, but a career-high 11 turnovers. He gets 32 points of help from Austin Reeves, who is coming off an ejection for words and gestures to officials on Wednesday night. But the Lakers get a victory sans Luka. So how would that affect these standings? As mentioned, the Cavs, they are now tops in the league, and the East still 5.5 clear of Boston. No more meetings between those two teams this season. Pacers, Bucks, that looks to be the highest stakes race left in the East. These stakes being who will have home court in a series potentially against one another. They are battling it out for the 4-5 spot. Just a game separating the two. Top 7 teams in the East, all on win streaks of 2 or more games. In the West, it is starting to feel a little bit like the Thunder and Nuggets than everybody else. The Thunder with a clear gap to the Nuggets, 8 games, but the Nuggets 9 in a row moves them up into second. Memphis, 2 games clear of Houston. Memphis now in the 3 seed. The Lakers now just a half game behind the Houston Rockets for the final home court spot in the Western Conference. Heavy pour leading score of the night presented by Portland Water. You see the cans up top. Visit them at drinkpdxwater.com. They ship across the United States. And the heavy pour leading score, well, LeBron James poured in enough to match his age. A 40 spot in the win, coincidentally enough, that took place in Portland. Dunk of the night. Hey, if you want to sponsor the Dunk of the Night, holler at your boy. Info is down below. Shoot me an email. Let's chat. It was Jared Allen that had the Dunk of the Night. He had a two-step, one-handed jam from the three-point line. Go check it out. 2 steps. He covered up, banged up. Performance of the night, Paolo Banchero. Shout out Paolo. Started the season so well, 50 ball before sitting 33 games, albeit he played in just 5. But so much hype and excitement to watch Banchero play. His Magic have trailed off because of the injuries, but Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, both now healthy. Best game for Banchero since his return, and a much-needed win for the Magic, trying to find form and a guaranteed playoff position, sitting at that 7 spot, trying to get up into the 6. Injuries and news across the last handful of days. It was announced midday Thursday, Victor Wembanyama done for the season due to a blood clot in his right shoulder discovered during All-Star break. He obviously played in the All-Star game, but then on vacation, didn't feel right, was tested. The medical term, deep vein thrombosis, that will force the Spurs star to go on blood thinning medication that prevents him from engaging in contact sport. There is no concern for his long-term health being affected by the condition, and the Spurs expect him to be ready for the start of next year's regular season. So horrible news that we don't get to see Victor Wembanyama close out his sophomore campaign, one in which he was the clear favorite to earn the Defensive Player of the Year, and now via the game threshold, he will not be eligible. So we hope to see Vic back on the court come the start of the regular season next year. Mavs, well, they will be without Anthony Davis for at least 2 more weeks. Already down Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, who are expected to miss a substantial portion of the team's remaining regular season games. Dallas trying to position themselves for a defense of their Western Conference crown without any of their 3 big men for the time being, and the focal point of their trade of Luka Doncic. Bobby Portis, an integral piece off the bench and role player for the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, he will not be with the team. A 25-game suspension for violation of the league's substance policy. How did it go down? Quote from his agent, "I am devastated for Bobby right now because he made an honest mistake, and the ramifications of it are incredibly significant. Bobby unintentionally took a pain medication called Tramadol, thinking he was taking a pain medication called Toradol. Toradol is an approved pain medication that he has used previously and that teams and players use for pain and inflammation at times." 25 games for that mistake for Portis. Stock Mark Williams, the agent for the traded, then rescinded big man, issued a statement in support of his client's health and challenging the Lakers' failing of Williams' physical that rescinded the trade between Charlotte and LA. What a scheduling quirk that the 2 teams would play one another on a Wednesday made-up game after all that drama. He did play Wednesday against the Lakers, 29 minutes, 10 points, 9 rebounds, and still no further word from the league as to adjudication of the situation, if there will be any. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander made headlines as he has dropped his agent and will go at it alone, representing himself in his coming contract negotiations. One might think, well, why would Shai do this? Well, he is eligible to sign the Supermax this summer worth almost $300 million. The money, everything is already slotted in, so he would just be giving his agent a significant portion of that money that he has earned on the court. It will make him the NBA's first $80 million per year player. Let's wrap up the All-Star Weekend. We know All-Star Weekend wasn't the best ever. Viewership reflected that. It was down 13% from last year. A lot of negative comments as to All-Star Weekend. I've presented plenty of solutions in the past. That's why I was inspired to do a 40 positives episode that you can go out and check out in regard to the league, because it's not all negative right now in spite of what other media agencies may tell you. Speaking of media, if you watch your team on FanDuel Sports Network, one of 13 teams, the Spurs, Cavs, Hawks, Grizzlies, Magic, Thunder, Wolves, Bucks, Heat, Clippers, Pistons, Pacers, and Hornets, all on the rebranded from Bally Sports to now FanDuel Sports Network. They went from blood to crip, red to blue. It is now available through Amazon Prime if you are willing to fork out another $19.99 a month. House shoes. I got the New Balance 2002R protection pack in blue on for tonight. And I would like to talk impatience. When did we become, I just say that as a collective, maybe you aren't, so impatient as sports fans and rushing to judgment? Luka Doncic traded. The Mavs are doomed. The Lakers are ultimate title contenders right now. How could LeBron and Luka not make it work? Then they win one, lose one against the Jazz, and then they lose against the Hornets, and the sky is falling, and maybe Nico Harrison was justified in trading Luka. Well, Luka does seem to be a little bit out of shape, and now he has to sit because of his calf injury, yada, yada, yada. Why can't we just wait to see how things develop? It's going to take time, and making a trade like this on the fly for either franchise is going to take a little bit of practice, incorporation. Practice, if you follow the NBA, is something that teams don't have a lot of time or bandwidth to do, especially now heading down the stretch of under 30 games left, less than 2 months, the regular season wrapping up in early April, to gear up and try to put things together to make a playoff run. Maybe we all fall victim to it at times, in not just sports, but in life. But where is the patience to let things develop and let them cook? They have to figure it out together. We don't know what the Lakers will look like with Luka and LeBron on the court at the same time. That's something that JJ Redick, those two players, are going to have to figure out along with their whole supporting cast. Who will win the trade? How could we say 2 weeks in who won the trade and who didn't? Sure, everybody can have an opinion, but these are long-term things. Let's evaluate it 2, 3, 4 years down the road as to how this actually happens. We live in this microwave take culture. Everybody wants to be right and right now. But why don't we just sit back, enjoy it? There's going to be wins, there's going to be losses, successes, and failures, because ultimately, when a team succeeds, that makes it that much more rewarding. What to watch over the course of the weekend? Well, Friday night has some heaters. Knicks, Cavaliers, one hosting 3 potential playoff preview. Memphis, Orlando, both teams fighting for positioning in their respective conferences. Memphis, big offense. Orlando, defensively minded. Minnesota, Houston, the Rockets limped into the All-Star break, 3-7 over their last 10. Last time these two teams played in Houston, it was a big Minnesota comeback punctuated by an Anthony Edwards made 3. Some good energy between those two teams. Golden State, Sacramento, always intriguing when those NorCal rivals link up. Saturday night, the national game, Lakers at the Nuggets. If you miss any of it, as always, Season 3 has got you. If you like the show, please do like and subscribe. Share with a friend. Hope you enjoy the weekend. We'll see you back Monday. Peace.